Good morning, I'm Chip.
Hey, good morning, I'm Steve.
I'm George.
I'm Marion.
I'm Rich. I'm John.
And this
And
is
Chip's
Chip's
Garage.
Garage. Hey, we got a couple back with us today,
Yes,
Steve.
yes.
Come on up, George and Marion.
Yes.
They
Nice to be back.
they've
Yeah. It's good to be back. Good to see
Thank
y'all.
you.
Yeah.
I was just
Always
telling
great.
them they're part of the family,
Yeah,
right, Steve?
hey, family. Hey,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
hey.
And we consider everybody part of
everybody.
that, our viewers and everybody.
Absolutely.
And I want to say up front, like we always do, just because of certain comments, that the whole show is about sharing the experience of these old cars and to keep
Correct.
the culture going, get a lot of the younger people involved and whoever. But the whole point of the show is we aren't experts. We don't know
That's-
everything there
Nope,
is.
nope.
We're going to talk about some things on this very special car today
Special.
that we even got questions about. I mean,
Right.
you even got a couple questions. So we look to our viewers to help us with that
Right.
technical information. Again, we don't consider ourselves expert. We're just trying to share the culture and keep it going. So,
And there was a couple things that George pointed out that I never even remember. I mean, there's and this car is just so beautiful. But there's things on here that I would have never known.
right. And I've heard of these, but I've never seen one.
Right.
Yeah, at all.
Right.
So, all right. Well,
right, I'm
let's-
ready.
George,
Let's
yeah,
go.
George, we're going to let you run with it.
It all started in the early 70s.
I'm sorry.
I was
Sorry.
working at a grocery
Sorry.
store. We were up on a platform, and in the parking lot. This car pulls in, and I'm looking at the front of it, and I'm up a little higher, and looking at the profile and the lines, and I see these beautiful black stripes on the silver car.
Oh,
And when he pulled in, you could just hear it loping. just
How old were you?
oh shoot, man, I was probably 16.
Oh.
No, I was probably 17, 18.
17.
And there's
Yeah.
the thing, get them
Yeah,
involved
yeah,
young. The early,
yeah.
the
Wow.
earlier the better, because it stuck with you
Yeah.
forever.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, it really did. And so a few years after that, and when I went around to look at the inside, it had a bench seat and a 4-speed in it.
Oh
And it
yeah.
said 442 on the shifter.
Wow.
And I'm looking at a Cutlass, and I was aware of 442s and Cutlasses because a couple of the other friends of mine had Oldsmobiles,
Mhm.
But I said, boy, that's interesting. It has a 442 shifter on it. So later on, a few years later, I purchased a car, and I was racing my cousin, and I missed second to third,
Oof.
and then
It
motor-
happens.
Yeah, the motor
Wow.
it started knocking, and the piston disintegrated, and the wrist pin was just sitting in there, and it blew a side of the block out. And I drove it home.
Yeah.
Well,
Drove it home.
back
That
then we didn't have
Loud. It was
car
loud.
trailers. We didn't have phones. Hey, my buddy. Hey, you're
Yeah,
ready?
yeah.
Get your
Oh,
father
yeah.
to come get you with the truck
Wasn't
and trailer it out.
AAA.
No,
AAA wasn't
AAA,
in the budget,
nothing.
right?
Throw some duct tape on it and keep
Yeah,
her
yeah,
going.
keep going.
Yeah.
So we tore it down, and we looked at the heads, and the heads had 455 valves and large valves.
Yeah.
Performance. So, oh, that's interesting. And then we went a little further and looking at brushing the carbon off, and the pistons were flat top pistons.
Yeah, wow.
Another indicator for a W-31.
Yeah.
And somebody else mentioned about the harmonic balancer, how thick it was. And lo and behold, it's a W-31.
Unbelievable.
Wow, I would've-
So and we need to say that. So it's a 1961. Sorry, 1969
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oldsmobile Cutlass
Cutlass.
Right.
W-31.
option.
350.
With
Yeah, with a
350.
350 motor.
Right.
Very,
Yeah.
very
Rocket
rare.
350.
Very rare. And Marion, how many were made?
913.
Only 913
26
made.
of them were convertibles, and
Wow.
they sold only 26 convertibles because they brought them out mid-season.
Ah,
Okay.
okay.
Wow.
Wow. So convertibles.
So there
Soon.
might be one or two left, maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never seen one of these. Well, let's walk around it, and then we'll come back and end up
Sure,
with the motor. And
sure.
just share
Now,
share up front here, George, because I know with the
That's beautiful.
scoops
Well,
and
when you
just
when you
everything.
Let's step back.
yeah,
Look down
and
here.
you could see the
There.
scoops on the bottom. That's part of the OAI, the
OAI.
outside air induction system. And those are, they call them snorkels.
Snorkels. Yeah.
And the cold air or air will come in under the bumper, and there's two hoses, and it brings it right up to the air cleaner into the carburetor.
Yeah, more fresh air.
much more
Yeah.
fresh
Right.
air.
All right.
Right. More
And
fuel.
the faster you go, the more air you get.
Sure. More fuel, more air,
Yeah,
more speed.
More
right?
power, yeah.
Yeah.
We're talking about these headlights over here, George. Come
Yeah,
on
the
over here.
T3s.
Yeah, the T3s.
Yeah.
If you see original car, they'd have all 4 T3s. And you were
Right.
the ones where the lines were pre-68
Well,
right here in the
it's
T.
right. I'm
Right
under the opinion that if it was clear, it'd be a
In
67
the
and
triangle.
older,
Yeah.
and in these lines, and then if it has lines, it's 68 and
Yeah.
later.
Yeah. I love seeing them at a car
So-
show on an original
And
car.
T3 stands for 3 degrees, I think. The
Oh,
angle.
Okay.
There's
Oh,
some sort
really?
of
I
ratio.
never
okay,
knew that.
okay,
I think,
okay.
and
All right. Well,
I'm sure I'll get corrected if I'm
Well,
wrong.
that's
Yeah,
okay.
that's what
Well,
we're here
again,
for.
we
If
like
not,
our
yeah.
viewers
Yeah,
to
yeah,
tell
I
us. We
believe
want
that
to know.
T3 has to do with the angle of it. but,
wow.
they're horrible lights from the factory.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, they're just useless.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Yeah. Get a match out there a little brighter.
I love the split grill.
Yes.
And it's almost-
that's a standard Cutlass grill.
Yeah, that's
And,
beautiful. What's the S stand for?
that's the model, Cutlass S.
Oh,
Cutlass
And
S.
there's a Cutlass Supreme.
I got you.
That's
Yeah,
a trim level.
yeah, gotcha. Okay.
A model and
Do you
trim
know
level.
the difference between the S and the Supreme or no?
It would be a
Trim.
more bright work,
Trim
more
heavy.
trim inside, more advanced.
Okay,
you
so
know.
just more
yeah.
luxurious
Trim,
looking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
quite-
And it's of course it's got the dual headlights on either
Now in the
side. which,
442s, it had more of a checkered grill and they were black.
Okay.
And that's when you're looking at the front, you could first, if it's from the factory looking, you'll see that silver and you know it's a Cutlass.
I actually like these better.
Yeah.
It's more of
Yeah.
a shark tooth look.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
And then I'll explain the striping on the side. And also the trunk is black. If you come around, as you come around
Right
this
here.
way with the camera, and if you look at the trunk, you'll see the trunk has been painted black, and it was silver from the factory.
Yeah. Now tell us the story behind that,
Well,
George.
when my buddy brought it into the store, and the first time I saw it, again I was just looking at the front, and then when I came around, and I said, being familiar with a '68 Hearst Olds, the striping's identical
Yeah,
on the side
from a '68.
from a '68 Hearst Olds, and then the trunklet. The hood of the '68 Hearst Olds was different, so the striping was different. I said, wow, this is quite a combination. It looks like a '68 Hearst Olds, but it's a '69 Cutlass.
Yeah.
And at that time, I didn't even know it was a W-31. So the original owner wanted a '68 Hearst Olds. They only made like 500 of them. I think they had orders of 3,000 or 4,000. So he said that he couldn't get one, but he liked the striping so much, he striped.
Okay.
He bought this and striped it.
Yeah. So
Now-
so like a '68.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, real quick, what'd you pay for this?
Well,
You don't have to
first
say if
time
you
and
don't
the
want
second
to,
time. First time was like $600 and $900.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But it was a roller.
The second time was 6,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
now let me ask you. All the Hearst Olds were white and gold, weren't they? Every one of them?
No, 68 was. This is either Peruvian silver or platinum. I
Oh,
think.
really?
Peruvian silver was 68. Platinum is the color for 69, and all of the 68 Hearst Olds were silver and black.
Because
Black
This
interior.
is almost a metal flake, a real.
Has a high metallic.
Yeah,
okay.
metallic. That's wow. That's beautiful.
my
And
pictures. Go
you know, to spray silver
Yeah.
and it look right, it's got to be even, and
Yeah.
that's a talent.
Yeah.
That's a skill set.
Yeah.
And these stripes are all painted on.
Yeah.
Everything's
Yeah.
painted. Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
painted like a '68 because that's what he wanted. He couldn't get it
wanted the
new, and he
68,
68.
and
I love the combination.
it's
Beautiful.
turned out pretty well.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, my thing of my picture of a Hearst Olds is Linda Vaughn.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
The big
Yeah.
shifter,
Yeah.
driving, riding in a convertible, white with gold.
Amen.
That's my
Yeah.
that's my
There you go.
everlasting impression. You know, yeah. It's,
Now an Oldsmobile was a more of a luxurious
Yeah.
type
Yeah, right under
muscle
Buick.
car, if you
Yep.
will.
Yep, they were right under
Yeah.
Buick. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was an
So
upgrade.
we would have amenities that Chevelle maybe,
Chevelle, yeah.
or might not, or something.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. But we can look at things. There's this S again, and you can
Yeah.
see down here. Now this is all painted on with the white stripe,
Right.
and
right,
and of course you can see the chrome work.
right.
So this is actually, in a way, similar to the GTX with the layout, way they did it, and
Sure,
even the chrome
sure,
option, the
sure,
GTX
yeah.
being a level up. And let's talk about those wheels, Steve,
oh,
and
beautiful
tires.
wheels. Look at that, the rally wheels. And what were they called?
Those are SS2s.
SS2s. Okay.
Yeah.
And look how beautiful they are. And You got the stainless trim on them. They're painted black and
Right.
chrome, or stainless ring.
Yeah, I tried a couple different sets, and then once I put these on, I
Yeah,
stopped.
yeah.
I said, I think this.
White leather tires. Those
Yeah.
will. Oh, you got it.
So these are iconic Oldsmobile, and they're really
Yeah.
sort of the muscle car rim that they
Right,
had.
And you could get that
The
rim
mag.
in '69.
Yeah, so
it was available.
So those were factory. Those weren't
Yeah.
something you had to
No,
add. They
these are
came.
not from Coke or anything, but
Yeah.
You know, funny. Just my memory. I had a '69 Pontiac Cutlass, or not Cutlass, Pontiac S. It was a Pontiac S.
Hmm.
It was weird because
Yeah.
it was just a plain car.
maybe in Canada.
It was a 350 automatic,
Yeah.
and it was called a Custom S. That's what it was called.
Custom S.
Yeah,
Never
so-
heard of it.
Yeah, it's strange. I saw the S. I just start remembering about the
Yeah.
S on that. Yeah.
Let's look, and you can see again back in the day. You can
the
see
grill.
here, and these are functional. These are open. These grills, and they give air down in as well, right?
Functional to the cowl.
Yeah.
I think wasn't
Yeah,
it?
just to the cow.
Yeah.
They don't go into the engine.
No,
No,
they're
no,
functional,
but
yeah,
but
yeah,
what
they're
do they
functional.
feed? Yeah, they're
Uh,
open. What do they feed?
The heater.
I think they're. I don't even think
Fresh air.
Yeah, anything goes in there.
Yeah.
Really, I think they're
Oh,
sealed
really?
off.
It's
Yeah.
fresh
I didn't know if that was
Yeah,
part
fresh
of the
air.
vent
Yeah.
system.
No,
Yeah.
it isn't.
Okay.
No.
Anyway, look at the design of the hood. You know,
Yeah.
up and then down. I mean, just gorgeous. And we always point out, you know, the trim right on
Yeah.
these
Yeah,
old
yeah.
cars.
These are the W30, W31, and W32 stripes.
Okay,
Black.
and those are painted on.
Yeah. Now the hearse
Beautiful.
had a hood scoop on them on
Right.
the side, real long.
Right.
But they say those hoods are worth what, 10 grand?
Yeah,
8
and
grand.
honestly, I don't remember
They're fiberglass.
if these stripes when I first got it were painted or decal.
Okay.
I honestly don't remember
Yeah.
because I didn't have it that long, and then we stripped it down. I sent it to the school. We had an auto body
Oh,
class, yeah, and they stripped it and painted it lacquer
Right.
all silver.
it came out good.
It came out
Wow,
pretty
that's
good,
nice.
yeah.
Let's show a couple things over
Yeah,
here
run
if
over
we can
here.
show the
And-
viewers. And tell us a story. You
When
were
you-
telling us about the difference in the W31
Well,
by
when
year.
you order the performance package W31, you get this W31 decal. And the way W31 first came out in 1968, and they called it a Ramrod 350. And what did it have up
It
here?
had the two pistons, two
Little
little
pistons
pistons.
like that.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
then '69 they came and put the W31.
okay.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Cool.
So the W30 would be a big block in 68 and 69,
Okay.
or even 67 and 66, but and that would have been a 400 in 69. The W31 is a 350,
350.
and
okay.
then a small block, correct, and then back to the big block W32 was a
32.
highway cruiser.
Wow.
Now you were saying with the small block and the W31 in this year, it was really more for handling and performance.
Yes.
That
Performance,
way was a
yes.
much lighter in the
Right.
front
Well,
end.
you know, the 442s had a sway bar front and rear.
Yeah.
They had heavy duty springs. They handled well as they were.
But they had a
Mm.
455.
But it had
Yeah.
a 400 or 455.
Yeah,
so
big
now
one.
you take a lot of that weight out, and these were just a dream.
Yeah.
Wow.
I remember when I first got it back then. I didn't want to get out of it. I just wanted to drive it all day long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you see the marker lights, that's 68 and above, 68 newer, because the marker lights, that's what started everything.
Yeah.
If you didn't see the marker lights, it's usually 67 in most bodies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was that government regulated?
I
Is
think
that,
so.
yeah, I
so,
think
yeah.
that's why.
Like Europe, they would have a light right here. They would put a light right here, for European
Oh,
cars.
yeah, I
like,
remember that.
yeah.
This is aftermarket, I think you were
Aftermarket,
telling, but
yeah.
this is
Aftermarket.
off of a what?
It's a reproduction British racing mirror, and they put them on 69 Hurstolds, very similar to the
Very similar, yeah.
69 Hurstolds.
Okay.
He liked that
Very
look.
streamlined.
The,
You
the
know?
guy that had it before me,
You didn't want to put them on the
he
front
liked
fender?
that look.
Like a Triumph? You didn't want to put them right here? Yeah.
So this had a bench seat.
Had a bench
So go
seat,
ahead and tell
and
us what happened here.
It didn't have a console. You know, it has a console now. So when I first came around the side of the car, and I was hoping, obviously, as a kid that age, that it would have bucket seats.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. Oh, we
And-
all wanted bucket
Right.
seats.
And then I look, I see a bench seat. This isn't to myself. This isn't a performance car, you know, bench seat. And then I looked at the shifter, had 442 in the side with a
Okay.
little Hearst
Point that out
insignia
there, Steve.
on the side right
See it
there.
down
Yeah.
there, right there, 442.
And
It's on
I
the
see.
side of the shifter.
Side.
so a
on it, yeah.
lot of the 442 performance parts are incorporated in this,
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
you know, but you didn't have to pay the 442 price.
Right.
And a 442 means,
4-barrel, 4-speed dual exhaust.
there you go.
And
There
then
you
in
go.
65, what does it mean?
Don't know.
400 4-barrel dual
Oh, okay.
Ah,
Because
good to know.
in '64, the 442,
Okay.
the very first 442 was a 330.
Oh, okay.
engine.
330. Yep.
And then in '65, they went to a 400, then they went to automatic. So they took that.
They took it off.
Yeah.
I would say the 442 is a perfect 10. 442
Yeah.
also.
Oh, there you go. Let's point out a couple things. Here's how you open the door.
Yep.
Here's how you put your electric windows up and down. And you can see, look at the design here in the, there's like little diamonds in it.
Right,
It's
beautiful.
really a beautiful, again, more of a gentleman's muscle car.
Yep.
But you can see where they put the extra gauges in. They put the tack in, some gauges here.
Look at this wheel. Oh, it's beautiful.
Those are all
Everything. Look at this.
Period correct sun gauges, you know.
Yeah. So they're all old school
faded.
gauges. Something interesting here, if you look, there's two handles here, and you pull them out, and there are two different vents, a lower and an upper vent. So one gives you vent through this air like an air conditioner would. It's not an air conditioned car. And the other vent comes from down in here. So you get double air on either side, or you can block it off either way.
In most cars, they just had it down here in the kick panel.
Yeah.
Like my Camaro, just
Right.
down there. You
Yeah,
know, and
right.
It's just
Mine
suffer,
too.
go, it's
Oh,
like,
I know. I know.
And then, hey, you want to show them the back seat?
Yeah,
Here,
go ahead.
come on over here.
Point that out.
Come on over here. Oh, this is beautiful. Some have buttons. Some have, there's a right in the center right here. This is beautiful, right there. And I always be careful. I don't want to smash up against there because it would crack these. But if you look in the center, you said that was a rocket.
Yeah,
Is that
that's,
correct?
yeah. See
Yeah,
the
like, see how
design?
it goes up. It's like a rocket. Yeah. It's interesting because I've never seen that like that. And look how they built this. Look at this, how these bucket seats are. They're beautiful. They're comfortable. They're beautiful. Chevelles, Oldsmobiles, and Pontiacs had pretty much basic same seat.
Yeah, you could interchange them.
Yeah, and like
And
you
put
say,
the
it's a beautiful
different
ride.
covers on.
It's a gorgeous ride.
And in
Change the
69
cover.
was the first year you had an option to get the headrest.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That's the first
Yeah,
time
see the
it
headrest over
was
here?
available.
And then you just press this button, it goes up and down. And look at all the chrome. It blows me away, all the chrome. It's beautiful.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And
Thank
what
you.
about the
Yes.
front windows now changed from, you were telling me, from '68?
What's that?
Oh, these here? Oh, well, in 68 they had the vent windows.
Okay. Oh, 68. Yes.
Oh,
And then
okay.
69 they came up with the
One
vent windows
solid,
just
One
put
solid
on.
window,
window
yeah.
goes
Yeah.
across.
And one interesting fact on that, I've seen the least expensive F85, and you could also get a W-31 package on the F85. And
Oh, really?
Cool.
Yeah, but it had a vent window. It might have been a post car. I don't
Okay.
remember.
Okay.
But in '69, it was an F85, and he had the vent window.
Wow.
Now, was that an inexpensive car, the
That
F85?
was the least expensive.
Least
Yeah.
expensive, yeah.
Yeah.
Good for racing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Light. Exactly. Yeah.
Well, let's work our way
It's
around
gorgeous, gorgeous. Go around. We could open up the trunk. Look at all the metal. Look at this. Now, we talked about the exhaust, and the 442 had the,
Cutlass had a standard rear bumper,
okay,
and the exhaust would just come down and point down a little bit. We added these
around here. Yeah.
aftermarket tips for look, and they would just point down, whereas a 442 would be notched.
Yeah.
And then you'd have a trumpet
Sure.
coming out, and it would extend out past the bumper. So I'd like to keep it original to the Cutlass rather than,
Right.
Oh,
right.
I
looks
agree.
a little bit more performance like with the other bumper. And these are hard
Yeah.
to find these in
Oh,
such
I can't
good shape.
imagine. This is
Yeah.
beautiful
Yes, it
shape.
is.
It's pot metal.
Yeah.
They usually pop up. This
Yeah.
and this here. These are in excellent shape. And I love to see original stuff.
Yeah.
You know, but a tad bit of wear. I'd love that.
Well,
Absolutely.
It definitely has some patina in this
Yeah.
car.
Yeah,
Again,
but no,
look
it's
at,
beautiful patina.
Yeah.
look at the design compared to today's cars. The separation of your reverse lights,
Sure.
your lights, just the way your bumpers designed, like you guys mentioned here.
Yeah, look at this.
The chrome
Right
around here. The fuel again
Fuel
is
is
behind
under
the
here.
yeah. And this actually pops in and out.
There
you
you
can
go.
hear it pop,
There you go.
and there's your fuel, but it pops in. You can hear that.
Wow.
But just the attention to detail, right? And I always love this slope look.
Yeah, the slope.
I mean, it's just beautiful that.
This reminds me of the GTX in a way, that back window. Your
Yeah,
because it
yeah,
kinda
you're right.
widens
No,
out,
you're
you know.
right. You're
Most of them
right.
were square. But you know what? It's a thing that I like over here is the bumper jack has to be a big bumper jack. You go grab here. No,
Oh
here,
yeah,
grab
Right.
here.
look at the
It is.
size.
It's a
of
big,
that.
It
big,
is. It's
yeah, it's
huge.
a really,
Yeah.
whatever viewers out there, a bumper jack is a device that goes here.
Yeah.
It goes click, 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 click.
I hadn't opened it up for
You know,
George.
what I always admired too, and again, first time I saw it, I was up in the air probably 10, 12 feet, the way the rear fender wells flare out. It just has
Oh
that-
yeah,
Right, right.
yeah. Look down the side
The
here,
artwork, it's a
viewers.
piece
If you
of
can
art.
see here,
Right.
what he's talking about is the actual flare and design of this side,
gorgeous
even on the
design.
front.
Right. You could put a
Just
little bit bigger
beautiful.
tire on if you wanted.
Yeah.
Now, did these have wings?
No.
Spoilers.
No.
Okay.
The only Oldsmobile that had a spoiler or a wing in '69 would have been the Hearst Olds.
Okay.
Yeah. And this is some literature and things I picked up about the car. Olds W-31, Dr. Olds SS2.
There you go.
Dr. Olds was a big deal with these back in '69. Car Life road test. And one of the things they mentioned was how well the car handled, and you alluded to that earlier.
Look at that.
These are the
Turn
specs.
this way a little bit. There you go.
Yeah.
All the specs and acceleration. And
Yeah.
everything,
And it was 350, so it had a 325 horse and about 360 pounds of torque.
It's awesome.
And all hand assembled, balanced, and blueprinted from the factory.
The motor.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's-
wow.
They were built for
Didn't know
racing,
that.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they were built for racing.
Try to get that nowadays.
Yeah, look at this.
And this
See,
is
there's your snorkels.
There's a snorkel there, yeah, and there's the
Yeah,
hoses.
yeah.
Dr.
Yeah.
Oldsmobile.
Dr. Olds, yeah.
It's interesting with Dr.
Okay.
Old when
Whoosh.
the sales company advertising agency they made Dr. Olds look like the old horror films just for the
Yeah.
effect of it, and they called Dr. Olds and his assistants because they could turn any Oldsmobile into a W-31.
Oh, that's what it is.
At first glance, it looked like Dr. Paul
I
Bearer.
was just
Remember
gonna
that?
say
Yeah,
that. I was-
okay.
but that's what you're
Good
saying.
afternoon,
They did
people.
all-
Yeah.
all from old
Oh,
horror films, yeah.
We want the viewers to look at this.
Yeah.
A McKee
Oh, yeah.
Olds. I don't know what that is. All the other ones we do, but the McKee Olds. Anybody knows anything about it? Please comment.
Yeah, any of our
Yeah.
viewers, let us know
Viewers,
if you
yes.
know what a McKee Olds
I
is.
wonder
Yes.
if that was a sort of like a Yenko,
Huh.
but for Oldsmobile.
Like a McKee
Somebody- dealership.
Olds or something.
And this again is a
Yeah.
car and driver road test. Did it on the W-31 Cutlass in '69, and it wasn't as fast when you look at the performance as a Dodge, a Dart, or
Oh,
a
yeah,
Super
well.
B or a Chevelle.
14.7.
That's pretty good though for a weight of this car.
But once you put a set of headers on it, and here's an interesting note, gets back to the handling. I can't emphasize that enough. Although sports fans had better take note, the Cutlass W-31 package superb handling, the best compromise between ride and handling we've ever found in a sedan. That's pretty strong.
Absolutely.
Very.
Well, and that was the thing. Again, this wasn't built to be the fastest car. It was a
Right.
compromise to have the luxury, but the
Right.
muscle car, but to enjoy the ride.
And they were
Right.
comfortable. No rattles. I mean, you could travel across
Yeah.
country in this.
Yeah.
And you'd be comfortable. This is some of the
Oh.
ads. Dr. Olds, these are decals. This is an original brochure from '69. These are poster ads.
Look at that.
And the dealerships, for about $35, they could have got a demo of this with chains and
Really? Look at the whip.
Yeah. I saw that.
and there's the W-31 stripes right there, and another poster. Again,
There it is.
poster here, there, and it shows the Ram Air. Yeah.
Good
And
deal.
then- sure, and that's we don't really have a lot of. I lost the car for 20 years, so I don't really have a lot of
Yeah.
brochures. and
Yeah,
different
yeah.
things
Well,
with it.
let's show them the engine.
Yeah, let's
Oh,
move
yeah,
around
let's
here.
do
We're
that.
running
Let's
out
show
of
'em the
time.
engine.
I did want to point out the antenna. This
Electric?
this is this electric? No.
It is.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
electric, yeah.
I don't think it's operating.
Right.
Yeah, it's
A
inoperable.
lot of cars, luxury cars, had electric antennas like
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
I'm sure I
That's
probably
why this
have
was
one.
a cross.
Yes.
Just a gorgeous
Very-
car.
very
Just
nice.
unbelievable.
Here we go.
So show us what you got here, George.
This is a
Miriam.
Oldsmobile, Marion. Oldsmobile 350, and it's got ramrod on it
Right here.
because what in '68?
This is 68 was a Ramrod, and then in 69 it's W-31, and they put
With
the
the
other
pistons.
options on it.
Right.
And
Yes.
it's a small box.
So this would have been the emblem on the side you were talking about
Yeah,
on
the
a
pistons.
60.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, the pistons.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
I like that.
This.
Yeah,
this
watch
is
your
a
head.
headbanger.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's your,
yeah. Everybody
Nick
cut their
Keller.
heads on these.
It's very basic. A very simple,
Starts
basic.
off a simple, basic 350,
You're right.
and then, like I said, they balance it, blueprinted it, they put it together, and
It's so easy to work on.
they changed the valves in the heads, oversized the valves. They recurved the distributor, rejet the carburetor. They have a performance cam in it. I think it's 308, 474 lift.
Okay.
So she's pretty lopey. And then if you look down here, take note, I don't know if you
Oh,
have enough
from
light.
this side, maybe
Watch,
come from
you
up
can see
there.
how
Go over
wide, how thick that harmonic balancer
It would be
is.
So
down,
he's-
about down here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Really, right
That's
down in
the
there. It's
difference.
pretty thick. It's
That's
real. It's about that
The
thick.
only
Yeah.
the only engine that came on was the W-31, as far as I know.
Okay.
And actually, it's numbered. If it's
There's a
real.
number. Yeah.
Yeah, and then obviously the ram air hose. They start off with the scoops underneath. We saw those earlier, and they're connected to 4-inch hole
Okay,
here,
yep.
next to the hose, right up into the air cleaner, and then into the carburetor. Now, originally, when I first got the car, this was black, but the previous owner chromed it.
Looks good.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
left it. But
And this is a rocket motor.
it's a rocket
Yeah,
350,
which
right,
are
high performance,
iconic. Yeah, absolutely.
And the
iconic.
Coke can's optional. Okay.
Yeah.
We all have to have a catch can.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Yeah, and you know what? Of all of the engines that we have, big block, small block, this runs consistently 165.
wow.
The small block runs so much cooler than the big block.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Now,
we-
these are also known, right, especially the Oldsmobile engines, to really be a lot, just a lot more smoother running
Very.
engine, right?
Very.
Yeah, they were
well,
really
once
known
you get
for that.
because of the high lift cam and the duration.
Over
once you get past that point of a
2000,
yeah,
yeah.
she smooths right out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
It's
smooth.
consistent.
Doesn't want to quit. The 4-core radiator did not
See how
come.
wide it is?
Yeah, see.
The disc brakes were added. Power steering was added.
So
When
you
I
had
first
drum.
got it. He had drum brakes, and he also
Power
had regular steering
brakes.
and regular brakes.
Power
So you
steering.
say a couple
Which
Hail
is-
Marys when you steer it and try to brake after a long
Yes.
run. Yes.
You know, I remember, using my left hand so much when I had this car because in the manual steering. Yeah.
Well, I think that's does
We're
it.
about
I mean,
out
we're
of time,
just-
man.
yeah,
I could spend
yeah.
all day in
Me
this car. I
too,
want
me
to
too.
drive it, actually.
I want to drive it one day. Yeah.
Absolutely. You could take it for a spin.
Oh, we'd love to one
Yeah,
day. Okay.
yeah.
Well, guys, we're out of time.
We're out of time.
I'm Chip,
And I'm Steve.
I'm George.
And I'm Marion.
and this
This
is
is Chip's
Chip's
Garage.
Garage.